We're now joined by legal analyst Mpumelelo Zikalala, and he joins us via our video link. Mpumelelo, thank you so much for joining us here on the late edition. Of course, one would say quite startling revelations coming out of court today. You know, what are your thoughts on what has transpired so far?
Good evening to you and also to your viewers. I would say startling, yes, but I can only come to that conclusion after I've had the cross-examination having taken place. Remember, there are lots of questions that might be asked by the witness that is in the stand right now. You are not talking about any other individual or just ordinary member of the public. You are talking about a member of the SABC service. So he has access, has knowledge, has the ability to sound an alarm in many instances in this particular case. Secondly, the way in which he's handling his own firearms is questionable. Why would you go to someone's place that you've never been before or you have visited frequently and ask to place your firearm in a particular room when you know exactly that the rules don't allow you to do so? It's must be between with you or in a safe. So there are a number of instances in which the probability of what he is saying is not actually true, or there might be holes that might be poked at the end of the day. Now let's take it on a bigger picture. The state has the responsibility or the burden of proof to prove beyond reasonable doubt that the individuals that are there are indeed guilty. And the accused only have one thing to do, to say that there's a reasonable possibility that my innocent explanation is going to be one that might be preferred when I explain where I was going to while I went out. It could be I'd gone out to buy more alcohol. It could be that we'd gone out to see friends. It could be that we had the news via the grapevines, depending on who we had connection with. I'm not at liberty or forced to detail all those instances, but it is a possibility at the end of the day. So my assessment would be, let's check the credibility and the probability of what this witness is saying, which might be damning after the cross-examination is taking place.
One would also ask, I mean, this is a police officer, and why are we only hearing about this now?
That's the most important question, because you are dealing with someone that knows how the higher echelons of the police services are supposed to be. He knows where you need to enter or where you need to detail information such as this one. Remember, this is an investigation that has taken more for approximately a decade. So you are silent with this type of information for more than a decade and not detailing it, and it's only after some time in which you then go back and detail some crucial information. So this matter could have been solved had you had come to the police at the earlier stage within the first 3 or 5 years before. Why did you keep quiet with this information? Especially, as I stated earlier, you are just not an ordinary member of the public. You are the member of an SAPS official. You know exactly what the law says when it comes to the investigations and how crucial evidence needs to be collected as soon as possible. Why did you keep quiet? It may be there's an ulterior motive that you might have, and certainly the cross-examination when it takes place in the next coming days, that's certainly one of the questions in which you must be prepared to answer.
And that's you know, where I'm coming into, Mpumelelo. You know, the issue of him actually speaking out today in court. When you look at this matter, when these men were arrested, you know, there was a conspiracy theory saying that, well, you know, these are people who had said that they know nothing about the Senzo Meyiwa killing, but at the same time we have a police officer who was actually there on that day. You know, one would ask, was this a coincidence, or is there more to the story than, you know, we are hearing from court?
If you listen to the threats that he said he has suffered, one might come to a conclusion of saying, but no, wait a minute. It may be that there are individuals that are involved in this matter that did not want any information to be stated out or to be given to the correct investigating officials. So that might even lead to the delay that you have had. It's not usual for a matter to be investigated for more than a decade before the actual trial starts. So what's so unique about this one? It may be that there are people that were stopping this type of evidence from coming through. Then the next question would be, why hasn't the state taken action against them? Why does it want to prosecute them now so that you are able to bring them to book as early as possible? The quality and the quantity of the evidence is crucial. The earlier you bring it in, that's where it's going to assist you. Remember, as a state with the burden of proof to prove beyond reasonable doubt that the individuals are indeed guilty. So if you're going to waste some time while you're still trying to prosecute cases one by one, and I'm afraid that by the time you're thinking of prosecuting the real individuals or all the individuals that are implicated in the matter, it might be too late.
But at the same time, Mpumelelo, one cannot ignore the evidence that was presented in court today, and especially the first time where we see someone actually placing all the 5 accused in Vosloorus, just in the vicinity where Senzo Meyiwa was killed. What does it mean for this case going forward?
Certainly, the probability of it might be there if you take it now without hearing the cross-examination. But it's very crucial from the side of the state, because what the state has been able to achieve by this witness alone is to link all three accused to one date, to one time, to one day, to the same geographical area. So the chances of the probabilities of them that they might have conspired to do this very bad crime, it increases those particular chances. Also, that they know each other, they contacted each other before, it also strengthens the state case. But what it doesn't do is to say, when they went out, did they go out to visit the place in which the Senzo Meyiwa was killed, or did they go to do other things which are not actually related to the crime? That's where the missing link actually comes in, and that's where the crucial link would have been, in terms of saying, when they came back, this is what they told me, and they were very explicit in detailing what had taken place. But most importantly, what did you do about this information, especially because you are an SABC official and the assessing duties that are accrued to you.
And staying with that point, Mpumelelo, we also heard that there was some sort of celebration taking place following the killing of Senzo Meyiwa. You know, one would also ask, we've been hearing that this was a robbery gone wrong. Now that we've heard this testimony in court, what should South Africans believe? Should we believe it was a robbery gone wrong, or should we believe that it was actually a hit?
That's where it maybe contradicts the whole story. And that I was hoping that when the trial started, the state would give us their line or angle or the plot as to how everything actually took place. So in the opening statements, the state ought to have said, we are going to prove that to this court that these 5 individuals conspired in this particular manner. These are the sequence of events that were followed. This was the motive for creating or for engaging in this part of criminal activity. But the state did not do that. It's just went straight into evidence. Hence, these conflicting views which are then going to come in. Either a robbery gone wrong, or there's actually a hit that is there. But if you say there's a hit, then the next question is, what's the motive? Who's behind? Who's the master? Have they investigated in terms of any payments that have taken place between the parties? Is there any inference that can be drawn of any individuals that would have gained by the death of Senzo Meyiwa? If there is, that person must be brought to book and should have been part and parcel of the 5 accused that are there. If you don't have that evidence there, then it does create holes in the manner in which you are presenting your evidence as the state, and there are chances in which you're not going to get a conviction. Remember, on the burden of proof, guilty beyond reasonable doubt from the side of the state, from the side of the defense, this is a possible explanation which I'm going to come to. It is a possibility, and it's an innocent explanation that I'm bringing to you. Whether it's accurate or not, it's another story altogether, but I presented that information to you. It's something that can be a possibility. The court ought to take that into consideration. And a witness such as these ones, yes, it does assist the state, but it does not assist the state that much in being able to in discharging its owners.
And briefly, Mpumelelo, what are your expectations now that we find ourselves here? I'm sure you're expecting more for the cross-examination.
Definitely, especially for accused 1, 2, and 3, they'll spend more time in terms of trying to explain or what exactly they were doing on that day. I think we'll also get an opportunity to hear their version, because it must be placed on the witness to state this is the version in which the accused are going to state the reasons why they went out on that day, and it must be a plausible one and one that must be believed. And it would be interesting to hear what is the witness going to say when it comes to his own responsibility and onus that were placed on him as a police officer to report the crime, to make sure attended to within the ordinary reporting lines. Why didn't you go to the IPIT? Why didn't you go to the papers? Why didn't you even go to the commissioner, even the minister? Why keep quiet with such crucial information for so many years when you can see that your colleagues were struggling with investigating and making sure that they are able to bring the people that orchestrated this crime to book?